Well, hello, my beautiful Capricorn. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam. Okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using guide chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Capricorn, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask how are you doing. So this reading is going to tap into what you're moving through at this moment in time and of course what lies on the other side. Now this reading, it tends to be quite precise, so it may not resonate with all of you. So please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. So let's get straight to it. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Capricorn? What do they need to be aware of right now? What are they moving through at this moment in time and what lies on the other side? Now, I'm being given an image in the water, which is a lot of steam, okay? It just looks like a lot of steam or smoke. And I'm being given this energy of like, there's no smoke without fire, okay? And I just feel like you're the instigator on something. And I feel this is symbolic. Like there's no smoke without fire because you're about to instigate something, some sort of plan that's going to take off. Perhaps something has been smoldering for some time in your mind, an idea, and now it's really going to take form. Fire, when it is in tarot or anything symbolic, it means action, it means passion, it means that you're going to accomplish something that you're excited about or taking the lead on. So I feel this could be you kind of like plotting or planning for next year even. The smoke can indicate something is kind of like starting to formulate, you know, because if you think, you know, when a fire starts, it starts to smolder at first and then it becomes something that's like a raging fire that could be like your passion, you're rewilding or reigniting that spark within yourself or trying to lean into things that excite you at this time. And you're starting to kind of like reactivate after a period of being under a lot of responsibility, heaviness. You know, I feel maybe some of you have lain dormant when it comes to your passions, but things are going to get pretty wild for you. So I'm being given that energy. Now, of course, the famous saying, there's no smoke without fire, tends to mean that you may be digging a little bit deeper on something. If you've got a hunch on something, trust your intuition because you may actually just find the information or the truth on that over the next coming weeks and months there. But I'm going to leave that there, okay, because it feels very symbolic right now. And of course, I wish you could see what I have, you know, going on in the water right now because I do scry, I see images there, I'm clairaudient, so sometimes I'll hear a sound, but I'm just seeing this like huge, thanks so much, I'm truly grateful. Oh, I really wish you could see this because this smoke is coming out, is billowing out from this like spark of ignition on something, and coming out of the smoke now is a horseshoe. Now horseshoes are lucky. So, I mean, this could be symbolic. It could be something you see over the next coming weeks. I mean, it could be, you know, seen from a movie or you're going to see it in a reel, or perhaps there's something where you feel a little bit clouded because it is smoke, it's cloud. I mean, I can't see through it. And then suddenly a horseshoe emerges. So it can be that You're feeling a little bit uncertain about something, trying to get clarity, and suddenly luck is on your side, but you put yourself in a position to receive this luck. I'm going to leave that there because, let's get to the cards, but I got to tell you what I see, because if I don't, then it'll just stay stationary and stagnant in the water and nothing else will come through. But the card that has come through for you right now is the one who frees. This year has been a monumental year of change, of transformation, to liberate yourself from feeling stuck in a rut. A lot of you are maybe breaking free from bad habits or old cycles of repeat right now. A lot of you, because that water, it's kind of the same in the water. It's like I'm seeing this billowing smoke, even though that's like not smoke, that's water. That's what I'm seeing in the water right now. So it can be that things got pretty choppy. You've been feeling a little bit sensitive, going over emotional old ground in order to get closure or complete a cycle. But it says liberation, unrestrained, and freedom. I definitely felt like you're rewilding. 2026 is going to be exciting for you because this year, 2025, year of the snake, transformation, rebirthing, shedding old skin. And you've really been going through a lot of that. There's been a lot of transformation and change around you. But it set you up for what is to come. Next year is a fire horse energy, which means you're going to have that spark, that enthusiasm. You're going to see great advancements there. And of course, we are coming to the close of the year. It's going to set you thinking, what are you taking with you into 2026, or who or what environments do you want to connect to? And what are you leaving behind? So if you felt stuck in a rut or you felt bound to something, for some of you, it could be that you're, convalescing, managing stress levels, or managing a symptom of, an unwellness. And it can be that you're liberating yourself from that inflammation or that challenge. It can be that you're getting back to best slowly but surely there. For some of you, this could be that you are healing or recovering after some sort of addiction or some sort of issue. A lot of you problem solving as well. It doesn't mean that, everyone out there has got addictions or patterns or cycles of repeat. An addiction doesn't just mean anything connected to a substance. It can be that you're trying to look at what controls you and conquer that so you're in control. Things like intrusive thoughts, perhaps. Things like, reaching for your cell phone first thing in the morning rather than seeking the sun, or if you live in a very cloudy environment, just popping yourself outside to get some fresh air. So it can be that you are looking at what controls you, what are your triggers, the things that you reach for that feel like you're stuck in a rut so that you can set yourself free. And some of you may actually be deciding to leave neighborhoods or jobs or friendships or evolve away from things that just don't resonate with you at this moment in time. So this is a very exciting time, but you may be very sensitive about the things that you're letting go of or freeing yourself up from at this time, because it's hard to let go, especially if there is some sort of routine or habit, or if someone has had some sort of behavior that you've tolerated and you're like, enough is enough. If I know a Capricorns, your threshold of tolerating people who disrespect you is like 0. It's like as soon as it's disrespect, you're like, cut, gone. No, not returning to that. So you tend to be very good when it comes to that sort of boundary that you have within yourself. But it took you years to get to that position in the first place. So you're evolving and maturing to be able to do that. But right now, you're really checking in with your hopes, your dreams, and the things that inspire you, because you're searching for more. So if you have been feeling stuck in a situation, for some of you, it could be that, you're moving overseas, or there's something regarding the water or the seas that are going to help you with the next part of your plan. All these birds are migrating, so some of you may be thinking about migrating at this time. But, this can also be that you are trying to liberate yourself from, oh gosh, look at that. 8 of Swords as your foundation card. You're definitely liberating yourself from something. You felt that you've been in an immovable place right now. Now, this can be to do with your mind. So you are having a mindset reset so that you can break free from any limitations or anything that you felt stuck in. You're the sort of person who's like, I can do it. And then you go off and do it. You're not the sort of person who's like, I can't do that. You always find a way. So it's unusual to see that 8 of Swords there. But you may have felt that you did so much this year. You tried so hard to move forward on something, but it just didn't budge or it just didn't materialize. And that 8 of Swords has set you thinking. 8 is the number of the self. So this can also indicate a lot of you looking at restrictions in general. Now, this could be global event restrictions that you perhaps perceive are being mobilized, as it were, around the world. For some of you, this could be that you're looking at where you found things are difficult. You are trying not to force your way through any blockages. You're trying to work it out in order to liberate yourself from it so you can have free passage there. Also, for some of you, you may have felt like the last couple of years made you a little bit out of sync with your life or out of sorts with your traditional kind of character, because we have the Hierophant there crossing. And this can indicate that there's been a structure or something that has kept you limited in some way, and you used to be a little bit more spontaneous, or you used to take a little bit more risk, calculated risk, because the swords are there. Swords are all about the mind and about working things out. Analysis paralysis, sometimes overthinking. So a lot of you may be looking at how things outside of yourself over the last couple of years or even recently have made you feel very cerebral. You've been a person of action. You've definitely been very busy. I feel like you've been pushed and pulled in many different directions and holding it all together. But the 8 of Swords gave you a pause this year, something to reflect on. Pauses are important. They have a profound purpose, which is often to really discover a new way of doing something, or a new way of living, or something that perhaps is a missing ingredient that you feel like you cannot proceed without. So you're looking for that spark to rewild, or you're trying to manage intrusive thoughts that have kept you feeling challenged or stuck in a rut there. We have that 5 of Wands. Now, the 5 of Wands indicates everything that felt like a bit of a gear shift in your life. Sometimes it feels like it's hard to get everything together or move forward on something. 5 of Wands means, yes, it's clunky. Yes, you've been tested, but it's all going to shape up nicely for you. But a lot of you want to challenge yourself a little bit more. And I feel with that Hierophant as your crossing position, you just want to, be a little bit more creative or original. And you are that person, but you may have felt that you've been forging a new path and it's been hard. And for some of you, it can be that things have been in a bit of a repetitive routine, because the Hierophant can be like, this is the way it's always been. This is the structure. These are the confines of a limitation. Now, a limitation doesn't always mean something negative. It can actually mean something like, for example, I'm just giving you an example. If you're someone who has been fortunate enough to get a mortgage to have your own property, okay? That is wonderful. You have comfort. You are invested in tangible assets. You're paying off, of course, the mortgage. It's going to be a high yield interest. There's going to be a lot going on there, and it will take a large portion of your finances. So, of course, you've got comfort. You have stability. And, of course, you're working really hard to maintain and sustain that. But there's always this little worry in the back of your mind. I hope I can still make the payments. I hope that I keep my job. I hope that, I can have a little bit more money somewhere so I can spend a little bit more, have a little bit more fun. I'm just giving you an idea of something that we connect to that has a structure, which is welcoming, because that's the way it's always been. But also there's something like outside of that structure. You yearn for a little bit more excitement, more money to perhaps go on a vacation. You always have to factor in the structure or the routine or something that's repetitive that you have to maintain, sustain, or have a duty bound to commit to, okay? So I feel a lot of you are looking at your duties, your commitments, because we've got that card. It is commitments, and I feel with that Queen of Wands energy, I feel this is a year ahead for you where you're committing more to yourself and you're working around the structure to make it work for you. Okay, so I'm just giving like a mortgage as, some sort of idea of what I mean. It can be that, you're in a repetitive cycle in life in general. You get up in the morning, you do what you got to do. By the afternoon, you're sorted or you're exhausted and you go home and you have a cycle repeat. I feel you're seeking something a little bit more exhilarating. A little bit more like you want to leave the familiar in some way, because the familiar has made you feel a bit bored, stuck, or searching for more. But things are about to get a little bit more fizzy for you, a little bit more exciting there. We got the 7 of Swords. A lot of you want more independence. I mean, I'm getting some major energy here as well about establishments. I'll give it to you in a moment, because you got the Justice card there, you've got the Hierophant there, you've got the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Swords. You have, I would say, a healthy mistrust of establishments or the way that things are being governed right now. So you may be feeling that things are unfair, that things were always a little bit like rigged or unfair anyway, but it feels like it's more in your face, or it's a little bit more kind of like, I would say, pressurized. You may feel there's a lot of sneaky behavior going on, or, you know, injustices going on in the world at large, and it just feels like it is, you know, keeping you feeling stuck in either fear, because Eight of Swords, I mean, I'm not choosing the cards for you, my beautiful Capricorn. Whoever I'm picking up on may be just having a lot on your mind right now about your personal circumstances, the world circumstances, you know, local governing agencies and how they are increasing taxes, or how they are, you know, looking at inflation. It feels like a lot. So I feel a lot of you are feeling the pressure. Your presiding energy is the Five of Wands, okay, which can mean tension, unfairness. We got the Magician card energy here for you. We got the Eight of Pentacles. I'm not surprised to see the Eight of Pentacles here for you. Eight of Pentacles is a cycle or a routine that you're working really hard to maintain and sustain. And right now it feels like you're just duty bound or trying to get something off the ground, and it's been delay after delay, or it feels like you're working so hard and you can't see any measure of advancement or progress. But you will. The Magician card indicates thoughts become things, okay? And you are someone who's talented, gifted, and I feel we have the Devil card right there as your outcome energy. Now, the Devil card, of course, it's not an evil card. I want you to be aware of that. In Tarot, it means you are identifying where you're feeling stuck or bound, but also it's Capricorn card. So a lot of you are trying to come home to yourself, reignite your passions, really dissect your thoughts so that thoughts can become things. You don't want to be limited by your thoughts of fear, because that's not who you are. But there may have been something over the last couple of years, something monumental that may have happened in the world or in your personal circumstances there, that kept you kind of like in a place where you feel that nothing ever changes, and you're seeking that change right now. I feel with that Queen of Wands, a lot of you could be seeking, you know, community or people who vibe with you. You want to just have fun. You want to build strong friendships. You may feel that you couldn't really express yourself, but now you're stepping into your power and saying, actually, I'm going to say what's on my mind. You're not going to hurt anybody, but you feel this need to express what you feel about, you know, your personal circumstances or world events, whatever it is. Of course, I feel there is this energy of speaking your truth, being authentic. And for some of you, my guides just actually said, go one more. So I am going to go one more for you. I feel like you want to lean more into your passions, because you just feel like things are the same old thing, just a different day. That's what I'm picking up on. Now, of course, a lot of those things are outside of yourself. So I feel coming back to you, there is an energy here. Oh, look at that. We got the Star. Okay. So there's a lot of healing going on, a lot of clarity. I saw in the water all that smoke, and then a horseshoe coming out of it. The Star indicates seeing things clearly, aligning with a wish. It means there's a brighter future to look forward to. It means that if you're making a decision, you're going to make the right one, and you're going to keep shining your light out there, especially since it's next to the Devil card. I feel like you may be shining a light on your temptations, and this can be personal, like bad habits, or when you're under pressure, because you do have a Five of Wands there, which can indicate a lot of pressure, trying to hold everything together, and you're doing a great job. I want you to be aware of that. If no one has told you, I can see in your cards and in your energy, you bring your A game every single day, even when you're exhausted, even when you're like, oh, what is the point? Even when, you know, it's really hard to remain motivated or inspired, you still show up for yourself. And your future self is so grateful for you, and there are so many exciting things for you to come. I want you to be aware of that. Things will get easier. Yes, there's a lot of change going on in the world, and yes, change is a gear shift, and I feel this is about you being clear where you stand in this gear shift, and of course what you aspire to achieve. But breathe. You're doing everything you can in this moment with the resources that you got, and you're manifesting better opportunities to come to help you with your path. Okay, but Whoever I'm picking up on right now, the Eight of Swords indicates it's been a period where you felt bound to one position, or you felt like you have been in your head about situations. You know, the Eight of Swords can indicate that you got yourself into a little bit of a rut, or that life has got you into a little bit of a rut right now. Doesn't mean you can't come out of that. And this can indicate that some of you feel a little bit isolated, misunderstood, unseen, or lonely in this. Now, if you're feeling lonely, I definitely see here, a lot of you, your friendships may have shifted or changed or drifted over the years. Something's different here, and you're trying to make sense of it all, is what I'm seeing here, because the Hierophant can be commitments, whether they're friendships, whether they are family commitments, whether they are, traditional ways of doing things. Because I feel with this Queen of Wands, in your future, there is group activity. Queen of Wands actually means strong friendships with people who get you, who see you, who vibe in the same frequency as you, creative connections. So this can be that you're joining group activity, or you're doing something for you. Eight of Pentacles is reinvesting in yourself. And right now, not as a selfish measure, I feel that you're taking back your power, building your confidence, and trying to work things out for yourself right now. I feel like your focus is more on you and your path. Yes, you're going to still connect to your duties, your responsibilities, and your family, your soul tribe, but I feel like you want to give something back to yourself, because you may have not just neglected your own needs, but you may have found it really hard to find the balance in all of that, okay? So 8 is the number of the self, but 8 of Swords can indicate that things have been difficult. There's been restrictions, or something hasn't moved ahead. For some of you, this could be something legal, because you have the Justice card in your past position. So it could be legal documentation or a process that perhaps you have to follow. Maybe you are waiting for some sort of establishment with the Hierophant who are not pulling their weight, or are dragging their feet, for example. Five of Wands, you could be conflicted. You may be looking at opposites or competition, like alternative ways of getting something done. It may feel clunky, but with that Queen of Wands, there's going to be one person who really rises to the occasion to help you, and suddenly you get moving in the right direction. But this person or this situation, because the Star is there and the Devil is there, it means highlighting, a spotlight on something that would be negative for you, or something that would keep you stuck. So maybe the process to, take time or be slower than you want it to be is on purpose. As I said, sometimes the universe sends us a delay or a pause on purpose in order to make sure we are clear or don't miss anything. So I feel like things are going to get moving in the right direction for you. But this is a reading about you and not things outside of yourself. Very cerebral there. You're thinking about it all. You have a lot on your mind right now, and it's hard. And the Hierophant can indicate in the position, because the Hierophant basically means life got pretty serious. There's a lot of duty there. And you also read the reverse in this card, which can indicate that you want to break free from something, or you want to do something that's bold and daring and different. And it's really hard, because you're outgrowing parts of yourself where you desire more. What you have right now, you desired at one point in your life, and you achieved a lot, and you got what you've got right now. And of course, there's a missing ingredient here, or there's something else that you want to aspire to, and you need to do something a little bit different. Something that perhaps you've never done before, or something that requires you to shake up the system or the schedule, or, the routine that you have right now. And that's hard. In order to either break free from a pattern or cycle repeat or a limitation. I mean, if it is intrusive thoughts, for example, because you have very challenging sword cards here. Three of Swords can indicate a lot of challenging energy. You may often feel misunderstood. I feel things have been difficult. You've been suffering in some shape or form. And you're the sort of person that even when things are bad, you kind of go, you know what, I'm still lucky, I'm still grateful, because it could be worse, or there's someone out there who's got it worse. What you're going through is not to be measured against someone else who's got a different circumstance than you and maybe worse off than you. For example, what you're going through is relevant and valid, okay? And I'm here to tell you that star energy, it does get better. There is a brighter future to look forward to, and a lot of you are healing as well. So this could be that you're healing from perhaps something that was unfair It doesn't always have to be heartbreak or, a misunderstanding. It can be something was like monumentally unfair, and you are like healing from this. You're trying to make sense of it and process it. For some of you, it could also be that you've been adapting to change, or that, a part of your life has come to some sort of fork in the road where you're not going backwards, you're going forwards, but you may lament a part of yourself that you feel like you lost touch with. You've been adjusting. This is a card of keeping balance during times of change. You're adjusting the scales, as it were. And I feel like a lot of you are also trying to find the truth of a situation or work something out right now. The Eight of Swords can be that you feel bound to a position until you've worked this thing out. Because the history of the Eight of Swords is that the figure, all the swords surrounding the figure, which they cannot move in either direction because the swords are limiting the moment, the swords are all pointing down. And this is symbolic of protection. Okay, so there's no threat here. There's a protective energy that's kept you in a bit of a lull state or feeling a little bit stuck. And that is because you're reimagining your life in some way, or you've been called to change. And we rarely change unless we get really fed up with a situation. So I feel a lot of you have been called to look at the structure that you have right now. And for some of you, this could be also a person that you feel has limited your greatness or has tried to dull your shine, because you're coming out shining at the end. You're taking up more space, being your wonderful self, and discovering that spark and rewilding yourself as well. So I actually feel like you're coming home to yourself, but it has been hard, okay? So whatever this is, it feels like you've had monumental change and adjustment, and it's been difficult. And with that Three of Swords, of course, this can indicate hardship, but also it indicates you're a warrior, because often with the Three of Swords, you have to remove the swords from your own heart, okay, or from your own situation. If you know the Three of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, there are three swords present in a heart, and there's no one out there who's going to take those swords out apart from you. So the message there is that, one of the hardest things to accept as we mature is that no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to work things out for us. We got to work it out for ourselves. However, the universe is sending you some luck and some inspiration, as well as a free path forward that is clear for you to achieve your goals, your dreams, and your desires. Just keep showing up for yourself, because it is going to get easier for you there. But with that Three of Swords energy, if you are someone who's come to this reading, and this is only if you've come to this reading, because this card is in the earthly bound position in this present moment. So it tells me that you're holding it all together. You may have been extra sensitive recently. You may have been looking at where people betray you or don't show up for you, or you've had to show up for yourself. Be a best friend to yourself. You've been looking at where things have not been fair. You've been looking at the challenges in order to understand things so that you can get a clear idea of the path ahead. And the path is clear for you, and it does get easier. A lot of you may also be wanting to be more independent, more free from a structure or from a situation that you feel you've been in for a while. You may want to be more nomadic, or you want to, if you live in your family's home, your parents' home, for example, you may want to exert a little bit more independence. However, you live under their roof, and, depending on how they are, perhaps their rules and things like that, it could be that you just want to break free from something that you feel a little bit confined in right now. Even if you're in a working environment, it can be that you have a micromanaging boss and you're like, give me some slack. I know what I'm doing. In fact, you present as a threat to this person because you could do their job and yours, and they know that. So they try to limit your progress in some way by micromanaging you and getting you to do extra tasks that stifle you in order to move forward. So you'll break free from this. Talent rises to the top. Success cannot, miss you, is what I'm seeing. So don't worry about that. I feel like there's a bit of a breakthrough here, but I feel there's a personal breakthrough going on where you're challenging yourself a little bit more to be more spontaneous. I mean, a lot of you could even put yourself in training or in group activity where people debate things or come together. And I would say here that the Five of Wands is honoring people's differences. Okay, there's a lot of people out there, different ideas and values than you, and you're the sort of person who honors those things, and you may be trying to discover more. So you may be seeking more clarity or guidance on different ways of living right now. You may be very explorative. But coming back to this Three of Swords, some of you, not all of you, you may have been grieving a part of your old life, because this is a grief card. I feel like you're not going backwards, you're going forwards. to actually something better. You can't see it right now because you're in the middle of it. It feels like sometimes when life breaks you, it's because you're ready to be put back differently. Every piece of you that feels shattered is going to feel, it needs a new place, a new meaning, a new purpose in some way. So, there is that famous saying that the cracks are where the light gets in. And you've got the star energy, so that tells me the light is getting in. You've been going through an awakening and things are going to be different for you and so much more positive in your future. Whatever you're doing right now, I would say keep believing, because there is some exciting things to come and life is going to get a little bit more fizzy. There's going to be more rewarding relationships, friendships going on there. And if you're searching for love, okay, this isn't really a love reading there. You do have a contract with a person. I do see that a lot of you have been wondering about marriage, whether you actually want to get married or not. Some of you may have been divorced in the past or may have been in a high-level commitment where it really broke your heart. And it can be that you've been healing and protecting your energy and trying to rediscover yourself, because you may have lost a piece of you in that relationship, or you may have felt a piece of you got stuck with that past relationship and you're trying to heal that part of you. Okay, now I want you to be aware that you are whole all by yourself. There's no part of you that's missing, but it can be that you've shut off a part of yourself in order to self-preserve, but you will reopen that part of yourself and you will love again and you will be loved. Okay, that is something that is clear. You're going to get a love wish here. And with the Magician card, yeah, I feel like going off and doing independent things that excite you, very important, okay? But, I mean, Seven of Swords is a non-conformist energy, so I feel there is something here that you do that either has tried to fit you into a little box of expectation, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. And you're going to fight for that independent belief, and of course, you're going to shine your light, and you're going to be very successful at it, whatever it is. And I also have to acknowledge that if you are actually grieving a person, okay, firstly, again, I'm sending you a huge hug out there and so much love, because the Three of Swords can be literal grief, that you are in sorrow, in sadness, and you feel like everything stood still after that moment. Everything's different from then. And it's like, well, how can I move forward? But move forward you have been, and you've been healing. And of course, this person, they have never left your side, okay? They're definitely with you moments of stress and sorrow. They're with you like that in a second. Okay, they're comforting you, and there's going to be lots of memories where you laugh about that time that you shared that moment. And this is coming up a lot for the collective recently, probably because of some of the planetary shifts and the vibrational shifts that are going on in the world right now. There's going to be a lot more presence of people in spirit. Okay, you could probably feel this person, but coins showing up for you. And you're going to have more than one coin show up for you, not just one really rare one. You're going to have more than one, maybe even like a gathering of coins. But this is going to highlight that this person, they're with you. And they want you to value you, and they want you to know that they've never left your side and that it does get better. They acknowledge that, of course, we grieve because we loved, okay? And the power of the love will equate the power of the grief. So again, it'll be a process. It's going to be challenging sometimes. Sometimes you're going to feel numb, in shock, disassociated, and other times you're going to be raging and you're going to feel stuck and not know a process, but the body is trying to work things out. You're trying to make sense of things. And I feel that, you're being guided towards moments of happiness and joy and movement forward, even though it may feel like that's unfathomable right now. Like you're like, that's the last thing that I can ever imagine happening. Time does not heal wounds. You just get better at managing things, okay? And when you have kings or queens in readings, or emperors and empresses, it means you're managing something, okay? And, I feel like there will always be them living on in your memory, but you're going to have like some sort of monumental proof that they're around you. So ask for a specific sign. Coins are going to show up for you. That's evident here, but ask for specific signs. And I'm just being shown one thing right now. It's random. I'm not sure what it means, but I'm just seeing like a finger like that. It's up like that. If you go to like a game and you put one of those like fingers up like that, it looks like that, but it's not that. So either it's like you're number one, or they're like number one, or this was a sign or a symbol they used to do, or maybe they had that kind of like, it's like, yeah, when you go to a game, a ball game, for example, you put it's like a hand with one finger up like that. That's what I'm seeing, okay? Now, this could also be like put yourself first or value yourself, or like we are one. So, there's still connection there. But with a lot of love and respect, please ask for the specific sign you want, because you're going to get it. And you'll get it, I would say, before the year is out, okay? I would say in about 7 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that and remove myself from that energy with respect. So thank you so much. I'm truly grateful. Okay, moving on. I feel a lot of you Capricorns have been going through something really challenging, and the Justice card indicates you've been navigating this. Okay, you've been flexible. You're aware that you've been trying to get into some sort of rhythm, and sometimes it's been fair, or sometimes it certainly hasn't been fair. But I feel this is a card of adjustment and leading with integrity. Okay, you're someone who's honest and true blue, and the Justice card can indicate that good karma is coming your way, but you have yet to see it because the star is in your future energy. But whatever it is you're doing right now, I feel there is a gear shift going on in your life, okay? Now, of course, the Justice card can indicate, especially with the Three of Swords, a lot of you have been learning to communicate your needs from a healthy place through diplomacy, Now, this is not a manipulative energy, because you have the Magician card here. It is a focus that, you get more opportunities, or you have more open moments to achieve more or get information when you are diplomatic. So I feel this works in your favor. So I feel like you're someone who's very direct and sometimes blunt. And I love that about a Capricorn, because you know where you stand with a Capricorn. But you may have been learning about communication skills, listening skills over the last couple of years, in order to, be more direct, but get people to be more open with you so you can build connection, and it's just more rewarding. Okay, and this can be with friendships or family members as well. I just feel like nurturing communication and connection is important at this moment. You may actually discover something about someone who's really close to you as well. This could be like a generational thing, like a grandparent or, a parent there, or a guardian, someone older kind of like suddenly revealing a little bit more about themselves. And you're like, wow, you never told me that. And I feel like you're fostering a deeper verbal connection there. It's been challenging, but I feel like they're ready to open up, or they just didn't think it was a factor. So they just didn't talk about it, whatever it is. But coming back to you, the Five of Wands indicates you want to kind of like, I don't know, it's like you want to stimulate yourself more. You want to get out there. You want to initiate some sort of change. The Five of Wands is tension, but it's a tension that can happen in a good way. It kind of asks you to reflect on your motives and your situation. When you have tension or conflict, that's when you jump into action to make some sort of change. As humans, whenever we feel comfortable, we kind of like lean into that comfort. We don't really make change. So, something can be comfortable for some time and you kind of love it, but then eventually you're like, okay, I'm used to this now, and now I'm bored of this. So now I need to change. You get antsy, you get kind of frustrated. So I feel there's an energy here with this where you're like, something needs to change. Something needs to like transform in some way. So I feel a lot of you are outgrowing a part of yourself that is very authentic and true, but you're leaning into more. You want something more. You want more fizziness, more excess, more excitement, more something that you feel like you don't have right now, because there is just a little bit of boredom here with the Hierophant in its position and the Devil card. And I feel like you are trying to be more spontaneous, or trying to be more kind of like of a calculated risk taker, because you don't rush into something with folly. You're pretty sensible, but at the same time, you just want to let loose a little bit. That's what's coming through. You're definitely following your passions with that Queen of Wands energy. I feel this is you discovering that spark under all of that responsibility, under all of that seriousness that has kept you heavy with energy. A lot of you may have been exhausted, but I feel this is you regaining that spark, leaning into rituals or routines that raise you up. Beauty routines. The Queen of Wands is all about aesthetics as well. So it can be that you're changing the way that you give back to yourself. There could also be products that you normally use that you're like, okay, I love a certain cream, or I love a certain shampoo, or whatever it is, right? And suddenly it gets discontinued and you're like, what? That's just and you get really stressed. But the universe is saying, branch out a little, try this other thing that's actually better for you. Find the alternative. A lot of you are looking for the alternative right now in your life, and you're having a glow up. In order to have a glow up and go through an awakening, often it requires you sorting through the mud of life, getting closure on challenging experiences, and at the same time, you've still got your duties and responsibilities, paying the bills, doing the stuff. And it's like, it's a lot. It feels like everything's hitting you at once right now, but on the other side of this is peace, calm, reflection, and of course, success. And that Queen of Wands, you're going to meet more people who resonate with you. This is you following your passions. This is you attracting what you desire. Queen of Wands, the Devil card, and the Magician cards, they are all cards of desire. What do you desire at this time? Because you're in a state of attraction, especially in the next 6 weeks. This is a potent time for you to really call on your magnetism and say, Dear Universe, I'm so grateful for this opportunity for, and then fill in the blank. Imagine it like you got it right now, and then watch it unfold in your life. Now, Seven of Swords. This is in your advice to yourself in this moment. Seven of Swords often gets misconstrued. This is a card of independence, marching to the beat of your own drum, not conforming. It's, you making sure that you're not a people pleaser. It indicates that you're searching for the alternative. However, you may also be looking at where it has not been fair in your life, where, either for some of you, there may have been a confidentiality breach and you're severing ties with a person who you cannot trust anymore. Some of you with this Seven of Swords, it's that you're being a little bit more subtle about what it is that you want. And by subtle, I mean you're still speaking your truth, but you're being diplomatic and softer. A leader doesn't have to kind of go in and bulldoze and say, I'm leading here, I'm leading. A leader is often someone who has a lot of gravitas, knows their worth, which you do, and can affect change by gently leading. Some of the most famous or well-known leaders, they're not people who spout off and tell you how it is. They call you in by talking and saying calmly, this is how it is, and this is how it should be, and this is how I do it, and it works out. Because they value themselves, they don't need to overstretch themselves. So I feel a lot of you are learning about this, coming back to your center and acknowledging that you are leading from a different place in 2026 as you move forward. And you're being independent and you're severing ties with anything that is not fair or isn't working out for you. And, the Justice card can indicate that you're trying to make a decision right now. And it may be that you have to factor in other things or other people. But at the core of it, it's like you're really trying to decide what is right for you. Because I feel like there's something you got to do here and something you got to focus on, and it's going to be magical for you. And of course, people will adapt. So for example, if you're deciding to go off and study at college, and maybe it's out of town, maybe you have to relocate. Maybe your family are going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're moving upstate, or you're moving somewhere else or to a different country. And, I feel worried for you, and all of these things that can keep you in the structure of how it's always been. And you're like, but I got to do this for me because it's the best opportunity, the best education. It's going to be exciting. I'll call every day. I'll let you know I'm fine. It can be something like that pacifies, factors in your needs for being independent, but at the same time, making sure that everybody else is still connected somehow and feeling relevant in your life. This can be connected to a job opportunity. Some of you may be thinking about going overseas, relocating, but you're leaving behind family, friends, something that is familiar to you. But you're leaving the familiar in order to embrace the extraordinary. And they can come and visit you. They can enjoy all the benefits that you're going to enjoy when you activate this monumental moment for you. So please apply it to your situation, whatever it is. I'm just giving you scenarios there. But the Magician card indicates circumstances outside of yourself indicate you're manifesting something, a wish. You're calling it in. You're someone who is looking at energy levels right now as well and acknowledging what gives you that spark, what gets you jumping out of bed in the morning, and what doesn't. And you're looking at making some monumental changes there. The Magician is all about your focus. So as we start to close out the year, you may be looking back at your performance, as it were. And I'm not talking about your job or your bills. You may be looking at when you felt people misunderstood you, when you felt you were underestimated in some way, where you felt like you gave away your power in situations, where you felt people didn't believe in you. Were there moments when you didn't believe in you? You're really assessing so that you can correct these things or free yourself up from anything that was a limitation so that you can thrive and shine, because you're born to stand out in some way. And I feel with this card, this is you looking ahead for what magic you want to discover. You're utilizing your resources. You're stepping into your personal power. You're, reaffirming your personal belief system as well. Belief in self, but also the belief in certain ways of living. Maybe looking at the alternative right now and trying to understand a world that has shifted or changed or adapt, doesn't feel fair. A lot of you are, basically thinking about what you believe in so you can speak your truth, reveal your truth in some way. But the majority of you, I get this sense that you're coming home to self and that you're setting yourself up for next year, which is going to be monumentally exciting for you. The Eight of Pentacles is in your hope and a fear position. So a lot of you may have grappled with the structure of something, like routine and structure works really well for you. But sometimes you need to go off script, okay? So it can be that you can find the balance in the two. Structure working really well, making sure that you feel secure in your circumstances, knowing where you're at, coming home to yourself, but also giving yourself permission to trial and error. Remember, there's no such thing as failure, because if you do something, you just learn how to do it a different way, or you learn that it's not for you and you want to go in a different direction. But you'll never know unless you try. That's why I say trial and error, because that's what life is. It's about figuring things out and then realizing sometimes we can't figure things out. Sometimes we can't have all the answers. But then sometimes when it is monumentally right in our lives, then we just know. Then we have the answer. We feel it intuitively. We know it. But you like to have the facts to back it up, and you will have those as well. The Eight of Pentacles, the fear is boredom. It's also routine and getting stuck in that. And I feel right now you're in this position where you're breaking out of it in some way. You're committed to do that. You're dedicated to learning more about yourself, the power of your mind, the power of your thoughts to transform your life and the actions that you're taking right now, and how you connect to people. A lot of you are looking at how you connect to people in friendships, relationships, people that you know. You may have noticed that those friendships are evolving or changing, or there's a distance. You're kind of like setting yourself free from people or situations that don't resonate. And it starts with the self first. A lot of you are trying to reinvest in yourself right now as well, managing stress levels. A lot of you may put yourself under some sort of training or some sort of challenge there that you're really going to love, and you're going to build firm bonds. So this could be you leaning into a hobby or something that you aspire to achieve that brings like success or some sort of qualification. But a lot of you, it's like you learning about your capabilities and learning where you want to take things to next, and remembering who you are, remembering your power. The Devil card is a Capricornian card. So it's like, here I am in all my glory. This is a period of looking at your temptations where, and don't shoot the messenger when I say this, because Three of Swords, Eight of Swords, and a Five of Wands can equal moments of self-sabotage, okay? Like procrastination sometimes. But this can come from like feeling exhausted. It can also come from feeling like perhaps you're not ready to take a certain path or do a certain thing. I know certainly when I used to paint a lot, there'd be days where I'd already started a painting and I'd look at that painting and it'd be calling to me saying, finish me, hello. And I was like, I can't do this today. And if I pushed through that energy and thought, I gotta finish this, I'd ruin it. And then I learned to work with the energy. When you know, you know. And I feel that's something you're doing right now. You're learning, like, if something inspires you, then you're just going to go for it. No excuses. And if you're in the moment and the energy is right, you're going to go for it. Because remember, the Queen of Wands is all about passion, energy. So if something doesn't feel right in that moment, you may go away, calculate it, wait for the right moment, or abandon it because it's just weighing you down. It's not right for you. So you're checking in with yourself right now to know the difference. And with the Devil card energy, you're freeing yourself up from a temptation, or you're healing, things that perhaps trigger you. A lot of you may be looking at your triggers. What causes fear, anxiety, second guessing, doubt? These things may have been told to us as self-sabotage. But actually, doubts can really make you rethink something, or even find a better way, or Take a pause to make sure it's really for you. You're wishing for something because you have the star energy. So the pause that has come upon you right now, where you feel somehow in the same position, it can indicate it's given you thinking time to work something out or overcome an obstacle that could have kept you stuck. Something that if you rushed into it, maybe you would not have seen. The pause is on purpose. Trust the pause, trust the process, because I feel like you're about to be aligned. A lot of success here. You are achieving a lot right now, but there is more to come. There's a healing journey here as well that has been challenging and difficult, but you will get to a place where you feel you've resolved a lot of things within yourself. And we are all, the students of life, are all an ongoing process. A work in progress, shall we say, and I feel this is about you living your best life. Now, the star energy, I've just covered the card because I really, I know it's the star energy and I get a lot of energy from it, but sometimes I don't look at the card, okay, and I just realize that it's a little bit risque for YouTube, doesn't like it, so I'm going to cover this card with my finger right now, but, you know, before I upload it, I'll probably put a little bit of a blur over the bits that YouTube doesn't like that is present in this card. But I feel this is about you being your authentic self, being raw and open to your passions, living your truth. A lot of you may have been called to detoxify your body right now, your mind, your home space, declutter as well, so that you can free yourself up for the new year and feel fresh. Okay, but I definitely see here there's a lot of good stuff to come. There's an energy here as well of being a little bit more like natural. I'm not really sure in what area of your life, but that's just come through there. So I'm just going to leave that there because I'm not really sure how my guides want me to dissect that. I'll always be honest with you and say, I got a certain something, but I don't know where it's going. So I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so yeah. I feel a lot of you are trying to remain balanced when it comes to your hormones and, of course, when it comes to your vitamins and minerals. But I feel like a lot of you are getting back to your best self. And if you feel like you've lost touch with a part of yourself or you've been grieving a part of your life that you felt was a little bit more balanced, I feel like you're going to get back to a place that you feel you've returned to happier times and actually feel more fulfilled, because now you're not going to be second guessing, overthinking. You're just going to be living your truth and being like mature enough to acknowledge what you want, what you certainly do not want, and have no fear to kind of call it out or say it. So yeah, I'm loving this card that just popped out for you there. It says all the right things will come to you in the most unexpected ways. Absolutely. You can't see it right now because you're in the gear shift, but there's some really great stuff coming your way. We've also got with greater awareness, you will find the answers you're looking for. And it says here, a detour is available to you right now that can be of benefit. So the gear shift is opening up a new pathway that seems easier. And I feel like, you know, you're ready to take this. Sometimes we got to free ourselves up from the expectation of how it should be, to kind of get out of our own way, to allow the universe to deliver something that will be even better than we expect it to be. Because sometimes we accept less than we truly deserve. We're like, okay, that's good. I'm happy with that. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. And the universe is like, I want to give you more. But you keep holding on to this expectation. So that devil card can be that you're freeing yourself up from an expectation. Doesn't mean you're not going to get a goal or a dream. It means, you know, you're going to get what you asked for and then some. So it says all the right things will come to you in the most unexpected ways. We've also got with greater awareness, you will find the answers that you're looking for. So doing a lot of soul searching right now, doing a lot of very cerebral, philosophical thought processes in order to get clear on where you want to go. And a detour is available to you right now that can be of benefit. Now, I didn't see the detour in your reading. I got to be honest with you there. But I do feel that perhaps you're freeing yourself up from a path that you wanted to proceed with, but it just kept coming up with lots of roadblocks. There's always got to be a reason. Whenever I try something and it doesn't work out, or I'm trying to get to a place on a certain timeline, you know, and if like suddenly there's roadworks, suddenly there's some sort of delay as well, and suddenly something else crops up, I suddenly go, hey, the universe doesn't want me to get there at the time that I want to get there. There's a delay for a reason. Trust the process. I may be frustrated at first, but suddenly I surrender and say, okay, there's got to be a reason why. But if I push past that, it could be something negative that was going to connect to me in some way. So trust the pause. Just going to go and get a trinket or a rune, but I feel like you need to be aware. Ooh, look at that. You need to be aware that a free path is going to clear up for you. Now, it's really interesting because you've got a rocking horse there. It's actually a unicorn rocking horse. Now, if you think about the nature of a rocking horse, it goes back and forward, back and forward. Same old thing, doesn't go anywhere. It's back and forward. Gives you the illusion of kind of like progress or movement, shall we say, but there's no actual advancement. So you may feel that you've been going back and forth. Life has been like back and forth. You've been busy. There's been action, but you feel like somehow you're still in the same place. Interesting that this trinket came up there for you. But you've also got the snake. This is the year of the snake. This is giving you opportunities to transform, to rebirth, so that you're ready for next year. Because I feel like the training wheels are coming off next year and you're going to be freewheeling. It's going to be exciting and there's a lot of advancement there as well. This can be personal advancement. Doesn't have to be in terms of career. It feels like whatever it is you're reimagining for your life is going to be awesome. Okay, so I would say you've been going through a process. You've been tested. And there was a pause with this, but things are about to get moving in the right direction for you. And most importantly, you're learning more about yourself. And that's one of the hardest things that we've come to this lifetime to do, to learn about ourselves, our place in the world, our connections to people, and of course, learn about other people, their motivations, and, trusting our intuition. You're coming home to self right now, and this year was that year to really do it. That's why it was a bit of a challenge, okay? But I feel there's a brighter time ahead for you there for 2026. Even though things are going to be still a little bit challenging in the world, I'm not going to lie to you there, but I feel like you find a freer path to move forward on this, okay? So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates, my beautiful Capricorn. Thank you so much, and love and light.